Hey guys, I'm back today with another deck profile, and before I begin, I want to first address, yes, there has been a name change. We're going to make a separate video discussing that later. But today, I wanted to bring you guys a deck outside of Super Quantums. I want to take a break from that for a little bit. But I do have a couple updates to the deck. There's a couple of versions of the deck I do want to talk about with you guys and show you guys. Until then, I want to bring you guys another deck I've been working on. You guys can see it's Red Eyes, but I actually like to call it the Red Eyes Archfiend Dragon deck. Now you guys are going to be wondering, what does that mean? Well, all will be explained as I get into the deck. I'm going to go straight into it. 3 Blackstone Legends. Actually, I'm just going to hold them up for you guys. 3 Blackstone Legends. You contribute him to special summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck except for Red Eyes Black Chick. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in the graveyard except for Red Eyes Black Chick, shuffle it back into the deck, and add this card to your hand. You can only use 1 of each effect per turn, so that means you can only use 1 of them per turn. Sorry, I think I worded that incorrectly, but you can only use 1 of them per turn, and that means you can't use the other. Which is fine, it really recycles. And I do use the add effect a couple of times to refit the deck, but this deck is so amazing. I wish this card was a lot cheaper, because like, I think like what, $20 to $40 is a little much for this. It's short printed, it's a short print secret rare, so yeah. Whatever. Next, the next card of the deck, 3 regular Red Eyes Black Dragons. It's a target for the Blackstone Legends. I wish I had more of this artwork, but I don't. I just want to give you guys another moment to look at the mat. It's a pretty good mat. Anyway, now this is just a normal monster. It has 2400 attack, level 7 dark. The dark and the level 7 is very viable in this deck. And he does have an amazing effect. He's immune to Phoenix Chain, Breakthrough Skill, and Skill Drain. And if he attacks your opponent directly and lowers his life point down to 0, you win that duel. You don't win the match, but it's just as good. Next, we move on to the Gemini Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. Looks pretty good. Now, Red Eyes Black Dragon, if you Gemini summon him after he attacks and there was damage calculation performed, that does not mean he actually inflict damage. As long as his attack was completed, I get to inflict 2400 points of direct damage. I can only use 1 effect once per turn. So basically, if you had 2 of him, you can technically only inflict damage with 1 of him, if they were both Gemini summon, that is. But he's just another target, and he's another level 7 dark. Last Red Eyes card, Keeper of the Shrine. If his first effect is okay. He counts as 2 tributes for a dragon type tribute summon. I rarely ever use that. If he's in the hand or the graveyard, he could be special summoned as long as a dragon monster was sent there at all this turn by destroyed. And if it was a normal, I could add it to my hand. I rarely ever use that. I mean, I use that effect a lot. And the deck is over 40. I just threw him in to help the orientation of the deck, because the deck has so much speed and searching that, and high level monster with low level monsters. I need to make the deck somewhat an odd number, so it will change what kind of cards I'll get in my open hand, because I have like a lot of high dead draw cards. If you stick to 40, those dead draws are going to be more locked, but if you add more to it, it just changes percentage and changes its outcome where you're going to actually fix your dead draw hand. I know a lot of people don't like to listen to that because they think 40 is the best, you blah blah blah, 1 out of 40, blah blah. If you look at it that way, of course, if you look at simple percentages, but sometimes you have to go in deeper, such as what kind of monsters you get, how fast you go into the deck, what kind of cards you really need in your open hand, etc, etc. The old 40, stick to 40 back in like 2020 is when 2002, when every card was good, mainly because we were just playing like a Legion beatdown. That's the time. Anyway, no more rant about that. Go on to a new change in the deck. Now, here is where the deck gets really odd. Junk Synchron, 2 Unknown Synchron, and 1 Chai Wen Light of the Yangtze. I'm missing my Jet Synchron. I don't know where it is. I used it a couple of days ago, but it's somehow missing from my deck right now. I checked everywhere. I don't know where it is. So in the meantime, until I get a Jet Synchron, I'm going to use this card because they have somewhat some similarities. And I really just wanted to get the video out for you guys as soon as possible. So I felt I could just sacrifice Jet Synchron's place for now. I do want to find out what happened to it though. So Jet Synchron, we all know what he does. But, and I'm also going to debunk what you guys are probably thinking right now. No, I am not targeting Blackstone from the graveyard, tributing him to special summon Red Eyes. That won't work with Junk Synchron, because Junk Synchron will negate its effect. Even you tribute it off the field, the effect will still be negated and you can't get out Red Eyes. So I'm not using that for that purpose. I'm using him for these other synchro purposes. To revive these other tuners. Or any other low level monster I do have in the deck for other synchro plays. Unknown Synchron is probably the best tuner in the deck because if my opponent controls a monster and I don't, I can just special summon from the hand, just like a Cyber Dragon. Downside is you can only use once per duel. I don't know why they put that. It's annoying, but it does help by the time you special summon it. You could normal summon your Blackstone. You normal summon your Blackstone and you tribute it, get some kind of a Red Eyes monster. Let's say it's him for example, and you could just synchro summon. That's something you could do. That's an easy synchro play instead of just having like a 2400 attack. You can now summon Beals or something and make it very powerful. And Jet Synchron, okay, I'm not going to show you this, but Jet Synchron, his effect is if he's used as a synchro summon, I could add a junk monster from my deck to my hand, which is this is my only target, which is actually pretty good sometimes because sometimes I do draw Jet Synchron or I'll special summon Jet Synchron a lot where I could use it. And Jet Synchron, speaking of special summon, he has his own effect. If he's in the graveyard, I could discard a card from my hand, special summon him back, but he's banished at the end if he leaves the field. Now that effect is actually pretty good, but you can only use one effect per turn. So if you use one, you can't use the other, which is perfectly fine in this deck. I was thinking, like, what can I do to infuse the Red Eyes deck to make it more explosive, make it faster, and make it a little bit more consistent, and overall make it more fun, and somewhat more competitive. And that's when I started thinking about tuning them with the Synchro monsters. And I also really want to know, how can I use the new use Archfiend Synchro monsters that came in High Speed Riders? I bet you guys all been wondering how to make those really good. So this is my way of doing it. And thanks to these tuners that can special summon themselves or special summon something, and they're low level, they're searchable or special summon, but really just adds that extra that the Red Eyes deck was probably missing. At least in my opinion. You guys feel free to disagree. You can write your comments down below how you feel about that, but I'm sticking to it. Last couple of monsters. Effect Veiler, another level 1 tuner, which I use a lot, and I'll explain why. It's another level 1 monster, and indicates monster effect. It still comes in handy somewhat this format, especially against the Vassals. It won't work against the Monarch. I tried this against the Monarchs because the Monarchs is really the deck's worst matchup. Like, you know, what isn't these days, but this kind of helps, and the fact it's another level 1 tuner does come in handy. Last monsters in the deck, Black Metal Dragon. Now, from either the hand or my side of the field, I could target one Red Eyes monster, except for Red Eyes Blackjack, equip this card, it gains 600 attack. That's pretty good. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you could add one Red Eyes card, except for Red Eyes Blackjack from my hand. So I could target any of my Red Eyes high-level monsters. Which, I've done that a couple of times, but his attack is really good. If I use him as a synchro summon, he actually will not miss timing. I could still add a Red Eyes card. Or, yeah, Black Metal Dragon is actually a pretty good card in this deck. And I went with 2 instead of 1 because I needed to change the orientation again, so I'm up to 2. And the extra 600 attack point does come in handy quite a lot because Red Eyes, even though he's 2400, he's actually kind of weak. So, yeah, I like it. Last monster in the deck, Kinkabio. Now, we all know what Kinkabio is. For a long time, this card was never reprinted. It was very expensive. Now, if this card is normal summon or flip summon, he can't be special summon. I could target one level 1 monster in my graveyard, special summon it, banish it, and leaves field. This I get to abuse Blackstone over and over again. I could abuse Black Metal Dragon over and over again. And then if I do have my synchro my synchro spam going. I could normal summon him, special summon Unknown, or special summon Jet from the graveyard. Synchro summon again, he returns my hand, normal summon him again, special summon him again. You know, summon Blackstone, tribute Blackstone, over and over again. It just becomes a snowball effect. And I won't really run out. It really just helps add the extra power. If I still had my Beast Eyes, I could technically go into Beast Eyes, but I didn't want to waste Kinky Beetle on Beast Eyes, so I'm actually quite fine without Beast Eyes in the deck. I have so many level 1 monsters, the tuners especially with level 7 dragons I can special summon easily. I could just keep going with synchro plays. King of Beetle is really good in the deck. Next, we're going to move on to our spells, our consistency spells. We're going to move into spells kind of quickly. So, 3 cards for Redstone, 3 swords, Sacred Swords of 7 stars, and 1 Allure of Darkness. This card send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from my hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Then I can send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from my deck to it. That counts as the Gemini monster or the normal one. It helps speed up the deck, helps load my graveyard with more level 7s, and I draw 2 cards and helps ditch the dead one. Sometimes I will use Black Metal just to add to my hand, just so I could discard for this card to draw more cards. Sacred Sword, I get to banish a level 7 dragon from my hand or face up on the side field, draw 2 cards. I only use 1 per turn. I don't mind banishing the level 7 dragons because I can either get them back or I could work with them. It's just to fix my hand, and it really helps just add 2 more cards and more banishing. Allure of Darkness. As you remember, I was pointing out why level 7 and Dark was really good in the deck. As you can see now why. But these are allowed to draw cards. Too bad I can only use one of each once per turn. Well, technically Allure, you're only allowed 1, so technically you're only allowed to use 1 per turn. But anyway, they had so much draw power, so much search power, so much spam power, and deck thinning power. I felt that I need to make the deck an odd number above 40 to really help me change it. Because these are 7 out of 43 spells. 7 out of 43 cards in the deck. That's almost 1/6 of the deck. Now, if I stuck to 40, there's a good chance I'll probably have it, but then I might have to drop certain cards. I might also not have the targets I need. So yeah, that's my reason for going above 40 in this version. I mean, feel free to disagree. I'll make a video discussing that later. But yeah, that's for now. I like it. It's really good with draw. Next, last couple of consistency cards. 1 Summoner's Art, 3 Dragon Shrine, and 1 Tune. Summoner's Art, at 1 level 5 or higher normal monster, which I only have 3 targets, but I do recycle it a lot. Like, a combo I've done is return the Blackstone, target the level 7, one of the normal Red Eyes. I probably have 1 or 2 in the grave anyway, because I usually go through the deck first. I add to my hand, I'll ditch it while they're cards for Redstone or Sacred Sword 7 star, draw 2 cards, and I still have another Blackstone to go for next turn. Dragon Shrine, send a dragon. Sometimes I'll send a normal or the Gemini, and I'll send the Blackstone just to put it back in my deck, just so I could get the Blackstone in my hand. I can't use that turn, but sometimes I'll just allure the Blackstone away, or I'll just add with 2 dragons and just special summon them back that turn. Too bad I couldn't use 1 Dragon Shrine per turn, but it's pretty good. And I've been waiting for a long time to use Dragon Shrine over again. And Tuning, I only have a couple of targets with Tuning 4, but it really helps just add it to my hand. And as you guys see, there's a lot of searching and thinning here, so that's why it makes the deck really consistent in my opinion. And also the 1 mill card. If I'm lucky, I'll probably mill a Red Eyes. That would be really nice. I've only had that happen maybe once. So I've been playing this at like the stores a lot, and yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I play it online. Now we're gonna move on to a couple of my what I like to call the summon spells. 3 Silver's Cry, 1 for 1, 1 Dragon's Mirror, and 1 DDR. Now, Silver's Cry, again, only use 1 per turn. As a special target, 1 dragon normal monster from the graveyard. That would mean my Gemini Red Eyes or my regular Red Eyes. I love Silver's Cry in the deck. I could just do special summon during the battle phase if I want. I get to abuse the Flare Metal Dragon. I get to special summon my Unknown Synchron, activate Silver's Cry, special summon the Red Eye, synchro that turn, and still have my normal summon, so I could even summon another Blackstone. So yeah, that's a great combo I like to do with Silver's Cry. It really helps it. I could just go for an instant synchro play without needing my normal summon. Or if my normal summon is stopped or any other summon is stopped, I still have Silver's Cry to back up, especially with no Synchron. Or if the synchro summon itself is stopped, I still have other summon plays like my normal summon. So yeah. One for one. There's so many level 1 targets I could just discard. Like, let's say I prefer to discard Red Eyes, or I'll discard Blackstone if I'll add the Blackstone back to my hand, so it'll be a discard target for one. I get discard that to special summon like a tuner, and use Silver's Cry or any other effect to special summon a dragon, and then synchro from there. Or if I didn't use Blackstone last turn, I'll discard a card, get the Blackstone tribute, make an Exceed summon. Yeah. And DDR, I do so much banishing, and my hand is always kind of big and heavy. I could spare discard a card to target one of my banished cards, special summon back to the field. So that's why I don't mind banishing the card. I could special summon back the Blackstone, tribute the Blackstone, so it'll be back in my graveyard. Special summon a Red Eyes from the deck, or just special summon the Red Eye XC with it or Synchro with it, so I don't have to worry about it getting banished again. The DDR, and last card of the deck, Dragon's Mirror. I only have 2 targets. I could fill up my graveyard with dragons really quickly, so I could either summon first of a dragon or 5-headed dragon. And it's more of a late game card. It could win games. I use it sometimes. Sometimes I'll just make first of the dragon just to really kind of lock out my opponents, and sometimes my opponents can't handle it. Or if I really just want to put statement on it, I'll summon 5-headed dragon. Yeah, Dragon Mirror. Now we're gonna move on to the last spell card of the deck. Vary from different dimension. Now since I banished a lot, sometimes I just want to put them back in the graveyard, which is perfectly fine. And I can make it target eligible, like if I need for my Flare Metal or any other special summon, I need the target, so I'll just move them back into the graveyard just so I can special summon them. Yeah, I do banish a lot, so this helps that. Last card of the deck, Return of the Red Eyes. Now people might ask me, why am I using Return of the Red Eyes? Well, if you read the effect, it's very strong, especially since I'm accelerating through the deck easy. It's also searchable with Black Metal Dragon. It's basically a every turn monster reborn on either player's turn. If you think I'm gone, I can special summon it. Like, if it's face down my opponent's turn, my opponent's target, I'll flip it. I'll activate the effect, special summon 1 Red Eyes if I already control one. You have to control one to activate the effect, but most of the time I will. Special summon it back, and if it's destroyed, I can just special summon another one due to its destruction effect. It's really good, and it really helps accelerate my synchro or my XE plays without wasting my normal summon or any other summon that turn or my spell card. And I search it a lot, and most of the time my opponents are not dealing with it. I don't know why, but I do have other things, because I don't really have much sufficient back row, so they're going to deal with it. But if it's destroyed, I can just summon anyway, so I'm not really losing much from this card. That's a really good card. Now, I know we're running on long, but I like to take the time to explain you some cards, and now I'm going to move on to my extra deck. Flare Metal Dragon, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. It's an amazing card. And he can't be destroyed by card effects as long as he has XE materials. If he has one, every time my opponent resolves a card effect, they lose 500. It really starts escalate. My favorite effect is when he is